The top stories tonight in Y News. The Philippines is now at low risk for COVID-19 as Metro Manila prepares to de-escalate to a less strict alert level 1 by March.
All groups behind the junk disqualification cases against presidential hopeful Bongbong Marcos have filed their respective appeals to the COMELEC en banc.
Scientists and governments are finalizing a major U.S. report on how global warming disrupts people's lives, their natural environment, and the Earth itself.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, February 15, 2022. I am Hardin Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. The Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATF, is finalizing the roadmap towards the new normalcy, which will be expected in the coming months. However, certain conditions must be met both by the public and the government. Rosalie Cons explains why.
As the Philippines return to low-risk classification for COVID-19, the government is already planning for the implementation of COVID-19 Alert Level 1. The Duterte administration also refers to this as the new normal. However, acting presidential spokesperson and Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles said several conditions must be met to attain this stage, particularly great vaccination coverage and compliance with health protocols.
We want to push a great majority of the population to be fully vaccinated and even boosted. Number one. Number two, yung compliance sa minimum public health standards po natin. Mask, hugas, iwas, plus airflow.
He added the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases is already finalizing the roadmap to new normal or Alert Level 1. Under Alert Level 1, all establishments, persons, or activities will be allowed to operate, work, and be undertaken at full on-site or venue capacity as long as minimum public health standards are observed.
So right now, fina-finalize na rin po namin sa IATF ang sabihin natin roadmap to Alert Level 1. No? For NCR, for Metro Manila, at kung ano pa man ang mga regions na mag-fulfill na mga requirements and conditions para mag-Alert Level 1.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health as well as the OCTA research team have mentioned about the importance of preparing for the transition.
Let's prepare, no? Paghandaan po natin ang pag-transition natin sa Alert Level 1 in the coming weeks or months.
I think at this time, dapat sinisimulan na talaga natin yung discussions at yung pag-aaral kung ano yung magiging effective nito, ano yung magiging resulta nito, at ano yung magiging policies natin. Kasi 2 taon na tayo eh. Kumbaga medyo baka maggulat tayo pag nag-transition tayo to a new normal. So kailangan may advanced preparation nito.
Last night in the President's public address, Presidential Advisor on COVID-19 Response Vince Stephen said that the new normal roadmap will be presented by the National Task Force Against COVID-19 to President Rodrigo Duterte in March. This is 2 years after strict implementation of COVID-19 restrictions. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the number of daily COVID-19 cases in the Philippines may either rise to 7,000 or drop to below 100 next month, according to the Department of Health or DOH. Isko Miguel will tell us why.
The Department of Health reports a 56% decline in average daily cases this week compared to cases last week. Average daily COVID-19 cases from February 8 to 14 is at 3,521. The DOH said that daily COVID-19 cases are projected to drop by March 15 to only less than 100.
kung mapapanatili po natin ang current minimum public health standards natin, ang bilang po ng mga kaso sa bansa ay maaring bumaba to as low as 83 cases lamang pagsapit ng March 15. Subalit, kung ang pagsunod natin sa minimum public health standards ay mapapabayaan, ang projected cases ay maaring manatiling mataas.
However, should compliance with minimum public health standards be reduced by 12 or 19%, daily COVID-19 cases may rise to above 2,000 to 7,000 cases by mid-March.
Maari pang tumaas at umabot sa 7,748 cases per day ang kaso ng COVID-19 kung bababa pa ang ating pag-comply sa minimum public health standards ng 19%. Ang mga projections natin ay nakabase sa katangian ng Omicron variant at sa iba pang factors tulad ng mobility ng populasyon, vaccination coverage, and of course, yung pagsunod natin sa minimum public health standards.
The DOH also said that there are still 4 regions that are at moderate risk classification. Region 11 or Davao Region's ICU utilization is still at moderate risk with 63.9% occupancy.
Karamihan din po sa ating mga rehiyon ay nasa low-risk case classification na maliban po sa Region 6, 11, 12 at CAR. Nasa moderate risk naman din po ang ating average daily attack rate or ADAR kung saan sa bawat 100,000 na individuals ay meron na lamang po tayong 5.26 na naitatalang kaso.
The DOH warns that most countries that conducted elections with a more relaxed protocols had COVID-19 cases resurgence. This is why the public is encouraged to stick to the implemented protocols against COVID-19.
Sa lahat po ng ginagawa natin, kapag tayo ay magkakaroon ng pagluwag nung pagsunod natin sa minimum public health standards at hindi masyado nagko-comply ang ating populasyon, maaring tumaas uli lahat ng ating kasos. Because it is election time, it is campaign period, nananawagan po tayo sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating pong local officials at sa ating mga kandidato na sana po tayo lahat ay tulong-tulong para po mapanatili nating mababa ang kaso sa bansa.
The World Health Organization said it is possible that COVID-19 pandemic may end this year, but WHO emphasized the acute phase can really end through the public's compliance, as this is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. Isko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The National Capital Region is expected to achieve the controlled transmission of COVID-19 by March 1. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
The OCTA research group is confident that the Philippines will reach the less than 5% positivity rate benchmark of the World Health Organization by March. According to Professor Guido David, COVID-19 infection continued to decline in different places in the country, especially in the National Capital Region, which is now at 6.8% positivity rate. According to WHO, if the positivity rate is maintained at below 5% within 2 weeks, the COVID-19 infection will be considered controlled.
Most likely before March 1, pero safely sabihin natin by March 1 naabot na natin itong less than 5% positivity rate sa Metro Manila. Basta walang bagong variant na banta, nakikita natin pababa na talaga yung bilang ng kaso sa Visayas at sa Mindanao. Meron na lang iilang lugar na matutunan high risk, pero pababa na rin sila.
David added, it is possible that COVID-19 cases in the country will drop to less than 1,000 to 2,000 per day during the first few weeks of March. David emphasized that this can be achieved as long as the public will continue to comply with the minimum public health standards.
And early March, possible pa nga less than 1,000 pa kung talagang mapabilis pa yung pagbaba ng bilang ng kaso. By summer, tingin ko, baka yung sitwasyon natin tulad na ng nakita natin noong November and December na mababa talaga yung bilang ng kaso at pwede nang magluwag, pwede nang magbukas yung tourismo natin.
Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippines recorded 2,010 new cases of novel coronavirus disease or COVID-19, pushing the nationwide case count to 3,641,940. This was the lowest daily tally recorded by DOH. The last was on December 30, 2021, when it reported 1,153 new cases. Active cases continued to decline and stood at 72,305, or 2% of the total number of cases. Among the active cases, 66,093 are mild, 2,961 are moderate, 1,498 are asymptomatic, 1,441 are severe, while 312 are in critical condition. 5 labs were not able to submit their data to the COVID-19 document repository system. On the other hand, DOH also reported 6,293 new recoveries, bringing the total to 3,514,489, or 96.5% of total cases, while 52 more have died from COVID-19, bringing the death toll to 55,146, or 1.51% of the total number of cases. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has topped 413,746,208, while the deaths have surged to 5,827,947, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. is the worst-hit country, with the world's highest number of cases and deaths at 77,919,052 and 922,473, respectively. In terms of infections, India follows in the second place with 42,692,943 cases and 509,358 deaths. In terms of deaths, Brazil comes second with 639,151 fatalities.
In other news, several schools in Mindanao and Eastern Visayas were allowed to resume face-to-face classes after 2 years of remote learning. Leni Moreno will tell us why.
The limited face-to-face classes have started in 43 schools in Eastern Visayas. 33 schools kicked off their classes yesterday, while the other 9 schools started their pilot run last February 7. This adds up to 62 schools in the region joining the pilot physical classes. According to the Department of Education Eastern Visayas, classes in schools ran smoothly. They assured that they passed the school safety and assessment tool, complied requiring a consent form from parents, and having the approval of LGUs before allowing them to join.
So they already have prepared their schools relative to the indicators found in the school safety assessment tool, because this is the tool that they need to comply with all the requirements. Otherwise, they would not be allowed to have the limited face-to-face classes.
8 schools in Marawi City and Basilan also officially began their pilot implementation of face-to-face classes yesterday. These are Anguyo Elementary School, Mapindi Elementary School, and Nanapon Elementary School in Marawi City, Damasco C. Forigay Junior Memorial National High School, Mount Trail Elementary School, Ulami Elementary School, Akbar Elementary School, and Upper Bans Elementary in Basilan. They are 100% compliant with school safety and assessment tool and undergo simulation exercises. Teachers were also vaccinated. Classrooms are disinfected. Hand washing area has been set up. Body thermometer, extra face mask, and alcohol. Each classroom has 70 learners, which grouped into 4. They will attend once a week while others use modular learning. Leni Moreno, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
For those watching our 24/7 live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Vice presidential candidate Senator Vicente Soto III says he will resign if he is proven to be pressuring other senators to sign the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee draft report on the Pharmaleaf pharmaceutical controversy. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Vice presidential candidate and Senate President Vicente Soto III belies accusations circulating through text messages that he and Senator Richard Gordon are pressuring their colleagues to sign the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee draft report. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee draft report based on the text and message found President Rodrigo Duterte accountable in the formerly Pharmaceutical Corporation controversy.
If you can come up with a senator who can prove or say that I pressured him or her to sign any committee report, that particular Blue Ribbon Committee report, which I have not signed, I will resign and shoot myself in Luneta.
Soto also called the text and messages fake news, and whoever is spreading the said messages wants to taint his reputation.
Merong nag-invento, una, fake news siguro yun. Pangalawa, gusto lang ako siraan or gustong, kung lumabas yung balita na yun, ang lumalabas doon parang kinukontra ko si Presidente, di ba? Ay, alam mo naman nila magkaibigan kami ni Presidente.
He also assured the public that he has not talked with any of the senators about the said report, especially if he himself has not yet signed it.
I have not talked to any senator about the committee report, about the Blue Ribbon Committee report. I cannot pressure any member of the Senate na mag-sign ng isang committee report na ako mismo ay hindi ko pinipirmahan.
Soto already called on the National Telecommunications Commission to investigate on the use of text messaging as a black propaganda tool and as an instrument to spread disinformation. Earlier today, the vice presidential candidate visited Parañaque City for a courtesy call with Mayor Edwin Olivares and Congressman Eric Olivares. He also had a meeting with the Homeowners Association in BF Homes in Parañaque City to meet his supporters. Meanwhile, the Lacson Soto camp also clarified they are not dropping Senator Richard Gordon and former Vice President Jejomar Binay from their senatorial slate. In a Twitter post, Jejomar Binay said he has not endorsed any candidate, honoring the agreement between the Lacson-Soto tandem. The Lacson-Soto tandem previously removed re-electionist Sherwin Gatchalian and former Quezon City Mayor Herbert Bautista from their senatorial lineup. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Leni-Kiko tandem continues its campaign in several parts of Visayas. Presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo vows to improve the health services in communities should she win the presidency. Arlene Delgado reports.
On the 8th day of the campaign trail, the ticket of presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo goes to Visayas, where they were welcomed by their supporters. The Leni-Kiko tandem first visited Rojas City in Capiz, starting with a caravan. In her message to volunteers of Robredo People's Council, Robredo lamented the billions of pesos of public funds that were lost to corruption, which could have been used for health services such as free dialysis to patients.
Yung community-based health services, ayun yung aayusin natin. Gustong sabihin, yung mga barangay health centers ay sisiguraduhin natin na tama yung kagamitan. Yung mga BHW ay tama yung training, saka tama yung compensation. May nurse bawat barangay. Yung nangangailangan ng doktor ay makakausap sa doktor, makakonsulta sa doktor ng libre.
Robredo also vows to address the plight of village health workers and teachers.
Pareho ng BHW, grabe din yung sakripisyo na binibigay ng ating mga guro, na kailangan binibigyan sila hindi lang sapat na compensation, pero hindi sila masasobrahan ng trabaho para nakakaturo sila na maayos.
The Leni-Kiko tandem, together with some of their senatorial bets, also went to Aklan and addressed their supporters. There, Robredo admits that their campaign will not be easy with all the detractors.
Lahat pong pangungutya sinabi na sa akin, bobo, lutang, tanga, ano pa? Tinatanong po ako ng ibang mga kaibigan, paano mo yan natitiis na ginaganyan ka? Simple lang po ang aking sagot. Sa limitadong mandato na binigay sa akin, pinaghusayan ko po ang aking trabaho.
In the 2016 vice presidential elections, Robredo won both in Capiz with more than 253,000 votes and in Aklan with over 148,000 votes. The Leni-Kiko tandem will be heading to Malay Aklan and the province of Antique tomorrow. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. Presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. says he respects the decision of other candidates not joining the presidential debate in Manila. Meanwhile, House Majority Leader and Lakas Christian Muslim Democrats President Martin Romualdez extended the unity call to other political parties and candidates. Nel Maribuhok reports why.
Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos was present during the presidential debate in Okada, Manila tonight. Earlier, Marcos said he made the commitment to join the event and has signed the agreement for his attendance. Marcos faced off with presidential candidate Labor leader Calio de Guzman after presidential candidates Vice President Leni Robredo, Senator Manny Pacquiao, Senator Panfilo Lacson, and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno have declined to join. According to Marcos, he respects the decision of his fellow candidates, same as how they respected him when he failed to show up in the past debates. His running mate Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio is in the province of Isabela for a campaign rally. She was joined by some senatorial candidates and Lakas CMD President and House Majority Leader Martin Romualdez. Romualdez said political leaders and parties should work together to make the country better.
Sa tingin ko ay nakikinig talaga lahat na sa mensahe ng UniTeam na basta sama-sama batangon tayo ulit. Kaya itong UniTeam, yung mensahe na makaisa na tayo ay napakaganda kay yung buong Pilipinas, lahat talaga, kesyo man partido man o yung taong bayan.
Some of the PDP Laban members are reportedly shifting their support to Marcos and Mayor Inday Sara. Currently, PDP Laban Kusi faction has yet to comment on the said issue, but earlier the PDP Laban said it is willing to support a presidential candidate who would adhere and continue President Rodrigo Duterte's legacy programs. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Domagoso believes that insurgencies in the country will naturally die. Meanwhile, the 47-year-old presidential candidate also denies vote buying as he aids fire victims in Cavite. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
Providing livelihood to people avoids insurgencies in the country. Presidential candidate Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno Domagoso explains this as he expressed continuous support to Executive Order No. 70 of the Duterte administration. Domagoso explains the insurgencies will come to an end if the government will instead utilize the budget for the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or NTF-LCAC to the people.
Yung perang ginagamit doon, itutuloy natin pero ibibigay ko ng trabaho sa tao. Yun ang kailangan ng tao. Kailangan ng tao, trabaho, para meron sila mapagharimulan sa kanya-kanyang bahay. Yes, we will continue to support those as long as direktang pinakikinabangan ng tao. Kasi naturally, insurgency will die.
Meanwhile, Mayor Domagoso also believes that the aid he provided to the fire victims in Cavite exempts the law against vote buying. On Sunday, the local chief executive promised to give 10,000 pesos to each of the 790 families to help them with their needs.
As far as I'm concerned, nasa masamang sitwasyon yung mga kababayan natin sa Cavite City. Mahirap masunugan. And under exemption, may mga exemption sa batas katulad ng sa oras ng kalamidad o aberya, wala namang masamang tumulong.
Thousands of supporters continue to welcome the camp of Mayor Isko Moreno and Doc Willie Ong as they visit the rest of Samar Province today. They are scheduled to continue their campaign caravan in other places in Laguna tomorrow. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Akbayan Group has asked Comelec Commissioner Amy Ferolino to inhibit in the disqualification cases against Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Dante Amento tells us why live. Yes, Dante, go ahead.
Good evening, Diego. The recent pronouncement of retired Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon has allegedly undermined the credibility and integrity of Commissioner Amy Ferolino. Guanzon disclosed that a certain senator has influenced Commissioner Ferolino over her decision on the 3 consolidated disqualification cases against presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Thus, the Akbayan Group, one of the petitioners, calls on Ferolino to inhibit from the en banc deliberations of the cases. Akbayan et al. And Ilagan et al. Have filed their motion for reconsideration before the COMELEC en banc today to reverse the ponencia or resolution penned by Ferolino. Thursday last week, the First Division dismissed the 3 DQ cases of Marcos.
Mag-inhibit si Commissioner Ferolino dahil nga in the past weeks nakita natin kung paano naglabas si Commissioner Guanzon na tila merong political interference na nangyari sa desisyon ng COMELEC, especially yung First Division. So sana ito ay hindi na mangyari dito sa en banc, no? Kung ano man yung allegations na yan, at mapapanatili natin yung tiwala ng taong bayan kung mag-inhibit si Commissioner Ferolino.
The petitioners also questioned whether the resolution promulgated by the COMELEC First Division is valid. They argue how the First Division arrived at its decision or resolution with only 2 active commissioners after the retirement of Guanzon.
Kung ito ba ay valid yung naging desisyon. Kasi di ba according to the internal rules of the COMELEC, dapat ang isang division ay constituted ng 3 commissioners. At tandaan natin, nung nilabas nila ang desisyon, 2 commissioner lamang ang nakaupo at nag-participate do sa process na ito.
Recently, however, COMELEC spokesperson Director James Jimenez explained that as long as there is quorum or majority, the commissioners in a division can vote on a case. The poll body's first and second divisions are composed of 3 commissioners. Diego?
Thank you, Dante Amento, reporting live from Quezon City.
Senator Manny Pacquiao says he would pursue peace talks with the communist rebels if elected as president. JP Nunez reports why.
Presidential candidate Manny Pacquiao believes that the root of the unending conflict between the government and the Communist Party is the lack of job opportunities in rural areas. According to Pacquiao, the government failed to provide livelihood to its people, which results to insurgency. He reiterated his presidential campaign to provide livelihood to poor Filipinos.
Wala naman silang hininging kapat kundi development lang at magkaroon sila ng sustainable livelihood, may makain sila na hindi sila magutom. Kailangan lang po kasi may hanap buhay. Yun po ang ina-explain ko mabuti na wala pong maghahangad na maghawak ng armas, magmamundok, malayo sa pamilya, makipaglaban. Wala pong gagawa ng ganun kung may trabaho at makakain ng 3 beses ang araw. Ang pinakadahilan po ng walang development sa bansa natin, maniwala po kayo sa akin, sa mahigit 1 dekada kung pagsiservisyo sa gobyerno, ang korupsyon.
If elected, Pacquiao said he would pursue peace talks with the communist rebels, saying the government should listen to them.
Gusto kong ipagpatuloy at gawin. Maganda po yung mga agreement na yon. Nag-agree ang both side. Pero yun nga pong in-explain ko, nangyari ba? Mahigit 2 po yung lumipas hindi nangyayari Mas lalo pang dumami ang naghihirap ng pamilya, dumami ang mga nawalan ng trabaho, walang hanap buhay. Yun po dapat i-ano natin ngayon. Kasi daling pag-usapan, face talk, daming pag-usapan, agreement, marami. Kahit punuin pa natin agreement buong taon. Kung wala namang nangyayari, kung walang implementasyon, useless po ang lahat ng yan.
He stands for the abolishment of the anti-terror law if it will not be amended. Meanwhile, the camp of Pacquiao is reconsidering to withdraw their motion for reconsideration after the Makati City Prosecutor's Office dismissed their libel case filed against Apollo Quiboloy. His legal counsel, attorney Nicky De Vega, said they consider that it is more important to give justice to the victim of the alleged sex trafficking case against Quiboloy.
However, we are also considering withdrawing our motion so that the U.S. government, through the Federal Bureau of Investigation or FBI, can facilitate the extradition and arrest of Apollo Quiboloy.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad,
Texas files a lawsuit against Meta's Facebook over its automated facial recognition and a tagging system. Marvin Delfin will tell us why live. Yes, Marvy, go ahead.
Marielle, the lawsuit against Meta filed on Monday in state district court claims that Facebook's use of its facial recognition and photo tagging automation is a breach of the state's biometric data protection law. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the tech giant over the violation of the Texas Capture or Use of Biometric Identifier Act, or QB, which requires informed consent from individuals before the collection of biometric data, including facial recognition. The lawsuit seeks thousands of financial damages over unauthorized use of the Texan people's biodata. This amounts to $25,000 in civil penalties for each QB Act violation, plus a further $10,000 for the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act violation, which altogether roughly equates to hundreds of billions of dollars in charges. This is not the first time that Meta was charged over its Facebook tagging system. Illinois in 2021 was granted a $650 million settlement over the same case. Facebook deactivated its tagging automation soon after the case. Meta is reportedly aware of these claims and that they will be defending themselves vigorously. On the other hand, the use of facial recognition systems on other platforms within the metaverse remains a high possibility. Marielle?
Marvy, how is Facebook's facial recognition system influencing the automated photo tagging system?
Marielle, Facebook reportedly captures biometric data from uploaded photos and videos without the user's consent. It is said that Facebook is then unable to destroy the data in time and is allowing the disclosure of data to other users inappropriately. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Marvin Delfin, reporting live from Australia. Chainalysis, a platform that provides blockchain data and research to government agencies, have found in their analysis that most ransomware revenues go to addresses that are highly likely affiliated with Russia. Annie Mancilia tells us why live. Yes, Annie?
Good evening, Marielle. New analysts suggest that 74% of all money made through ransomware attacks in 2021 went to Russia-linked hackers. Researchers were able to follow the flow of money to and from the digital wallets of known hacking groups linked to Evil Corp, an alleged cybercrime group wanted by the US. Analysts say they can identify which hacking groups are Russian due to various characteristics like language, location, and whether they avoid attacking former Soviet countries. Russia has denied accusations, including the $400 million worth of cryptocurrency payments that analysts suggest was also linked to them. Russian President Vladimir Putin told reporters at his 2021 summit that his own intelligence shows that Russia is not listed in ranking of countries with the most significant number of cyber attacks. A major international anti-ransomware hackers was launched in 2021 after many high-profile and disrupted attacks emerged. Alleged hackers were arrested in Romania, Ukraine, South Korea, and Kuwait. Marielle?
Thank you, Annie Mancilia, for that live report. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, is finalizing a major report about climate change and global warming, and Maeve and Dog will tell us why live. Yes, Maeve, go ahead.
Marielle, the Climate Change Special Panel of the United Nations is finalizing its major climate change report in a 2-week virtual sessions which started on Monday. This will highlight how global warming disrupts the daily lives of people, the natural environment, Earth itself, and the need for everyone to be involved. According to Rachel Cletus of the Union of Concerned Scientists, the report will confirm what we already know and will emphasize how much worse the climate crisis will get if we do not take action. Moreover, the said report, expected by the end of February, will also detail what to expect in the future and the risks of adapting to a warmer planet. Meanwhile, at a UN briefing, according to Deborah Roberts, a co-chair of the panel, a systematic change rather than just an incremental would be needed. Marielle?
Thank you, Mavian Dog, reporting live from Australia. In other news, Paris, one of the noisiest cities in Europe, has installed its first noise detection radar in an attempt to make streets quieter. The noise radar is located high on a street lamp post in the 20th district of Eastern Paris and will measure the noise level of moving vehicles and detect their license plates. Paris Deputy Mayor David Belliard says the aim of the radar is to automatically issue fines for vehicles that make too much noise. According to a study by money.co.uk in December 2021, over 5.5 million people in Paris are exposed to road traffic noise at 55 decibels or higher, compared to only 2.6 million in London and 1.7 million in Vienna and Rome. Over the next few months, the noise radar will be tested on whether it can accurately identify license plates of loud motorcycles and cars and will have to be officially approved by authorities by the end of the year. A second noise radar will be installed in Western Paris on Tuesday. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Maria Latoza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
Here's a story of an amputee and a woman who got married, have kids, but are struggling to make ends meet. But what they hold on to day by day is their faith in God. Then there will come a day when their wishes and prayers will be answered.
Agro Samuel was only 25 years old when he lost one of his legs after an accident. And 3 years later, his other leg. Being an amputee, he said no woman liked him, except for the wife of his late brother, whom other people begged for him to accept and marry him. And now they have a family of their own. Agro Samuel used to be a farmer, but with his physical condition now, he can no longer farm.
Abi kuma jere afo alebe abievano keke emi koyi le nyokoyi me kwa odompo obemenye tabitu se le lamanamo.
While his wife lost her capital in selling goods because of buying medicines, now they rely only on help from their children, who are also struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah, afunya pepi eve mape nyamagblola umele miabo wawe kpenare miam yatefe yawe do alomi le ndudunu sianme.
Their prayers include a wish to have a source of income, to have food on their table, and be able to buy medicine for when they get sick.
Yo lenyo bedodra menye bena maunek pere munye no pere sronyo de ne po enui kama wano he ano keke kama wano yi be kuhe magano eji nam sigbo medibe ne mau ne pere munye to solma haji no di nui kama no jajira abe gali sugar molly tin tomatoes provision nuzio be marka no jajira vivi mi atan akpom nya be gbese agbegbe.
Through God's loving kindness, Agro and Christine received the blessings they have prayed for: a new wheelchair for the husband and goods to sell for the wife.
Yeah, me takbena mau ntontonto be solmegaya evado miape dukoma le fie solmega oliza ga kente fe ga yolela de ke mawe masala te pere ke hado ke negbe yako e mau na irao mau na dasra bodo gi
At Benamau, thanks be to God for His blessings and a wonderful opportunity to witness His great works. May Christian small business be fruitful, to be able to pay it forward. But ye, brethren, be not weary in well-doing. Let us not be weary in doing good to others, as the Bible teaches us. The Bible's teachings are what MCGI upholds, with God's guidance, with faith, hope, and love, for the glory of God, because MCGI cares.
Before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of John 15:12. It says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you."
And those are the reasons behind the news, February 15, 2022. I am Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.